I'm Gregor Thompson, I'm a philosopher and a writer, and I know what the meaning of life is. Welcome to The Struggle. This episode is brought to you by the Struggle for Meaning newsletter. This is a weekly email newsletter that I send out for free every Sunday, a short article concerning the art of embracing struggle. I also send out tips, strategies, recommendations such as movies, music, podcasts and recipes to help along the way. To sign up completely for free, go to gregorthompson.com, the link will be in the show notes, confirm your subscription and make sure you check your spam folder for your welcome newsletter and add me to your contacts to continue to receive it in your inbox for free. And that's it. You're on your way to struggling more and being more productive, healthy and motivated. Now, let's get on with the struggle. This is episode 10 of The Struggle with me, Gregor Thompson. And for this episode, I want to discuss what behaviours, activities and substances you should use with caution. Because I've spoken a lot so far about what you should be embracing and accepting, but I thought it would be useful to discuss what you should perhaps use less of, or at least what behaviours, activities and substances have the potential to have negative consequences. There are no negative behaviours, just negative consequences, but there are behaviours and activities and substances that are more likely to cause negative consequences if used unintentionally. So, what should you be aware of? We should all be aware of behaviours that inhibit some form of pleasure without a productive result. Weighing up this pleasure-productivity balance is tricky. Activities that are more likely to have a productive result are those that are difficult in the moment but produce pleasure afterwards. Feelings of motivation, pride and accomplishment. These behaviours should also be used with caution, as too much work can cause burnout or a constant living in the future rather than enjoying the present. Whereas those activities that produce pleasure in the moment without any true effort are those that have the potential to be dangerous if used compulsively. But they needn't be dangerous if they're used intentionally. For instance, I just plunged myself into a bath of ice. It was not a pleasure-filled 5 minutes, but I do feel incredible now that I have done it. This is an activity that has the potential to have a productive result in that it was difficult in the moment, I felt pleasure afterwards, and it produced a productive result in my body and mind. But too much of these activities and not enough of the opposite can be dangerous, as you're always chasing the productive pleasure and not pleasure for pleasure's sake. The trick, as with most of life, is balance. A balance of embracing difficulty and having fun, and the best way to do this is with intentionality. Most people scroll mindlessly through social media for hours, unaware of what they're doing until they feel bad. Social media isn't the problem, it's this form of using social media that's the problem. So if you like scrolling through social media, carve out some time in your day to do this and have a clear cutoff point. This way you're intentionally doing something enjoyable and it doesn't have the negative consequences of unintentionally wasting time. There are behaviours that are more likely to suck you into this unintentional wasting of time, and these are generally behaviours and habits that imitate reality on a grander scale. Social media is an aggressive version of social interaction, fast food is an exaggerated version of natural whole foods, and pornography is a hyper version of real sex. All of these behaviours have the potential to produce negative consequences if used unintentionally. But if used intentionally, not compulsively, and if used for the sheer enjoyment of it rather than distraction from negative emotions, they can be used in a healthy way. It's when these behaviours cause the sacrifice of your fundamental goals or relationships that they become a problem. Shopping is another good example here. Relying on materials for fulfillment and happiness is a seemingly never-ending road, and I can assure you that that road leads nowhere meaningful. As soon as you find yourself thinking, oh, I'll be happy when I buy these clothes, or I'll feel fulfilled when I have a bigger house, stop what you're doing and reevaluate what you truly value and how you're spending your time and money. These material possessions provide fleeting doses of happiness and fulfillment, just as heroin produces fleeting doses of contentment. Sooner or later, withdrawal will come knocking aggressively, requesting that you inject another dose of heroin or those new shoes that you have your eye on. As soon as money is being relied on for happiness, stop what you're doing. With regards to the pleasure-productivity balance, shopping can weigh heavily on pleasure and produce nothing productive except a few minutes of happiness followed by withdrawal and a yearning for what's next. Again, shopping isn't the problem. What you're using it for is. If you're using it to make you happy, stop. If you're using it to distract yourself from negative emotions, stop. And if you're using it compulsively, so much so that your goals and relationships fall by the wayside, stop. Shopping can be used healthily as long as you're aware of the dangers, you're intentionally shopping, and you're balancing fun behaviours and difficult ones. All activities that produce pleasure with little effort send the chemicals in your brain into overload because your brain was not built for the compulsive use of exaggerated, aggressive, and hyper stimuli. So the answer is balance. Balance your days between what's difficult but productive and what's fun for fun's sake. It's balancing your day between what will make your future better and what will make your present enjoyable. Put your faith into meaningful, productive, and difficult tasks and behaviours, and intentionally enjoy pleasurable behaviours, because there's no point compulsively yearning for a better future whilst ignoring the present. The struggle isn't embracing difficult behaviours, it's the balance of difficult behaviours and pleasurable ones. That's why the answer lies in the struggle. So keep on struggling. Just a few more things before you take off. First, thank you for watching. It genuinely means a lot to see people viewing the content. And second, if you are enjoying the content, please subscribe. That's the best way you can support the podcast. Now, I'll see you next week.